Ladies and gentlemen, I am stoked right now, man. A massive arrest just took place in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. One of Ilhan Omar's allies, one of her best friends, just got arrested by President Trump's deportation agents who are currently surrounding and all over Minneapolis conducting their operations. They took a very important figure in Ilhan Omar's circle, someone she knows personally, someone who is already convicted in the Feeding Our Future scheme, where hundreds of millions of dollars were stolen from American taxpayers. This is huge. And you're going to see that this guy is connected to Tim Walz, not just Ilhan, connected to the Minnesota Secretary of State, just about everyone in the political scene in Minnesota. I'm joined by Andrew from Unwoke Thoughts. Andrew is a great friend of mine who was originally from Minnesota. So, Andrew, how are you feeling right now?
Man, George, I am excited. Yeah, I was born in the Twin Cities area, and thankfully I got out of that third world hellhole before all of this stuff went down. But man, I'm excited to see what is happening in Minnesota. We have to take our state back. It is so debilitating to watch what is happening there. But when Donald Trump put ICE into Minnesota, it's absolutely exciting to see.
Yeah, and Andrew's a very patient guy because I've been trying to do this intro like 50 times and I can't get it right because I'm too excited. But I think we got this one right. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. We're going to read all about him and then I'm going to show you that arrest taking place and his connections with Ilhan. But he's a Somali national who entered the United States illegally around 2000. He has been a prominent figure in Minnesota's Somali American community, serving as director of the Confederation of Somali Community in Minnesota, a nonprofit organization, probably one of the nonprofits that got millions of dollars sent to them by their disgusting and corrupt Congresswoman Ilhan. Despite a final order of removal, imagine how shameless that is, Andrew. You have an order of removal and you're like the director of a Somali community in Minnesota. Like, that's shameless and disgusting that the Biden regime would not enforce that. And that was issued by immigration authorities all the way back in 2004. This guy's been in the country for 21 plus years illegally. He remained in the US for over 2 decades, evading law enforcement until recent actions under the Trump administration's intensified operations in Minneapolis. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Abdul right now. Look at him. Ice, I love
Let's
ice, man.
go.
Let's freaking go. Here's the clip from Fox News.
Arrest of a Somali immigrant in Minnesota, seen pictured with local Democrat leaders, Governor Tim Walz and Congressman Ilhan Omar. ICE says that he was convicted of welfare fraud in Canada and should not have been eligible for temporary status here in the United States. Correspondent Garrett Tenney tells us the backstory here from Chicago. Hi, Garrett.
Yeah, Martha, the immigration judge in that Somali man's case denied his asylum request specifically because of the significant amount of fraud on his record. That was in 2004, but for some reason, Abdul Dahir Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, even after he had an order of removal. Altogether, DHS says it has arrested more than 12 individuals so far as part of its newly launched Operation Metro Surge in the Twin Cities. Those in arrest include 5 other Somalis, 2 of which have also been convicted of fraud.
What's a little bit annoying, Andrew, is they've only arrested 12 people since December 1st, which, that's still a lot of people in such a short period of time. I wanted hundreds, though, to be completely honest. Also, what's worse, Andrew, only 12 or the fact that this guy has been here for, years and we gave him protection status as a fraudster?
I don't know which one's worse, but when I look at this, it's really interesting because when you look at the Somali community in Minnesota, you see how close knit their ties are.
Yeah.
And they protect their own. And that's why when I see Ilhan Omar and people like this, they come on TV and they act like they have no idea any of this is happening, these politicians, not in a million years did Ilhan Omar not know. She needs to be investigated. They need to go after her because this kind of stuff, that's an isolated event, right? Or that's not an isolated event, sorry. That's happening all over Minnesota. That's just one situation, and this needs to be exposed ASAP.
it went from 1 billion to 8 billion. That's what the reports are saying. And
That's
this
correct.
is Ilhan
Yes.
Omar. Yeah, this is Ilhan Omar with Mr. Abdul Dahir Ibrahim right here, best friends.
Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004. He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next episode.
How ridiculous is that? Absolutely ridiculous. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is what this country has turned into, where Democrats will give protection to fraudsters, a guy convicted in Canada, for the same level of fraud he's committing here. And we thought it was a great idea to bring him into the country. And this is not just Ilhan Omar that he knows. As you saw there, this guy is quite the figure in the Somali Republic of Minnesota's politics. Look at him with Tim Walz, with Senator Tina Smith, with Steve Simon, your Secretary of State.
At this moment, you gotta wonder if Democrats have donors at all, really, or if they're just filtering all of this fraud money directly from the Somalis into their own bank accounts.
That's exactly what's probably happening. Remember, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, there was an allegation that, probably not even an allegation because it was leaked tapes, where it was quid pro quo. He wanted their support and he wouldn't prosecute them in return. And support means a lot of things in politics. It's not just, votes, it's financial support. So they're stealing money from federal taxpayers and from Minnesotan taxpayers, and they're giving it to the Democrats who then win elections. And this is why Tim Walz and these other Democrats, Ilhan, are all fighting tooth and nail to protect that fraud. And Ilhan Omar is now, ladies and gentlemen, a target. She is now a target herself. Here's that final piece of content from Fox News. They've been all over this. Credit to Fox News. This is the most I've watched them this year, like the last 3 clips we've played.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds. Well,
so she is now the target, ladies and gentlemen. She's on the menu, and I want Tom Homan, I want Kristi Noem, I want Pam Bondi, and everyone else in the Trump administration to investigate the fact that she lied on her immigration documents and became a citizen unlawfully, and she should be denaturalized and deported back to Somalia because she clearly thinks it's home. She said it before that she loves Somalia more than America, and that's a huge problem. But Andrew, what does it make her look like for one of her friends, one of the community members in Minnesota that she knows, to be arrested and to have been here for 20 years illegally? How does that make Ilhan look?
Oh, one of her friends, dude. Ilhan Omar is surrounded by these people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
She had that guy, and then she had her campaign party at this restaurant where this guy was just convicted. She also took $7,400 in campaign cash from convicted fraudsters, and one of her own staffers pleaded guilty to running a fake food site in this racket. So, I mean, it's not just this isolated event. They're like, oh, this just happened. This is one time. This is just random. No, it's not an isolated event. This is all around Ilhan Omar. So it's just like, as these people are circulating around her, like, who's right in the middle? It's Ilhan Omar. And she needs to be investigated more than all of them.
Andrew, guess which nationality of people had 100 of their women in Norway. So we're not in America, we're in Norway now. 100 of their women file fake divorces against their husbands so they could reap $80,000 in benefits per year in Norway. Which nationality do you think that is?
I mean, based on the context, I'd guess Somalian.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's not just Norway, America, it's Sweden, it's the UK. Wherever there's a Somalian diaspora, there appears to be massive fraud. Even in the United States, it's not just Minnesota, the Twin Cities, it's Portland, Auburn, and Lewiston, Maine. Recently, a Somalian politician, like I reported a few days ago, was arrested because he, you know, faked where he was living in his district, and then he stole guns.
Yeah,
So
and
he,
dude, I think Somalians, remember Nigerians, they've like for a long time they've been known as the fraudsters, but now they're looking
Somali.
good. They're looking good in
Yeah.
comparison. The Nigerians they're shining now, man.
Well,
They're shining.
it's interesting you say that because you would have thought that the huge population of Nigeria that lives in Houston, they steal a lot, but they came and they're engineers, literally, like, and they're Christians, so they find it easier to assimilate. The Somalians are everything we thought the Nigerians could be, right? The Nigerians in Houston own some of the biggest homes. They're some of the richest now. There's a lot of Nigerian millionaires out there with like actual businesses in Minnesota. they're
I call
just
it little
fraudsters.
Somali.
Little Somalia, yeah. They're just fraudsters up there. And it's utterly ridiculous, and we're putting up with this. And I think it has to end. I mean, Tim Walz says he's going to be launching an independent investigation into the fraud, which is really him investigating himself. What do you think is going to come of that?
I don't even know, man. I think Tim Walz, he knew this was going on. I think
Of course.
Ilhan Omar knew this was going on. I just think it just goes to show, like, when you have a third worlder like Ilhan Omar in her position, she hates the United States. I mean, that's clear. She said that Charlie Kirk's idea should go into the dustbin of history. She doesn't respect our society. She doesn't respect our system at all. And it's obvious she'll do anything to game the system. So I don't think, especially Tim Walz, I don't think he'll be held to account. I think people around him are going to go down, but he's going to be safe. And God forbid, I think maybe Ilhan Omar may be safe. I don't know. She's connected quite a bit, but I think we just have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Andrew Lubunsky, Unwoke Thoughts. Great channel. I'll link that in the description. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on. This is crazy. Great news. And let's hope these arrests are 1,200 by the end of the month and not 12. Okay. We need more. More.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks, George. I appreciate it.
God bless you all and goodbye.